Hey guys, how you doing today? I went out and bought this Victorinox or Swiss Army Swiss Champ about a week ago. Been carrying it in that little fifth pocket we have in all our jeans, and actually been really liking the function I get out of this. Just going through quickly if I can, because this has actually a lot of tools in it, about 33. Some of those are actually combined with other tools, but yeah, that was the count when I did it, 33 tools. Just going through them as quickly as I can. You have your can opener with your small flathead that also doubles as some Phillips driver. You have your actual 3D Phillips driver here, and it has a really strong half stop, so you could actually use it in that position without well, I wouldn't say without worry of it closing, but a little bit of reassurance. And then also it has a pretty strong lockup in the open position here. Next on that side, I think lastly would be your main blade. Really awesome blade. For the thinness, this blade is super strong and cuts exceptionally well. On the other side, starting from one side, you have your file, which also doubles as a nail file or metal file. You have your nail file or nail cleaner tip here, and then you also have a metal saw, if I could get those ridges in. You can see on the edge there it also has some ridges cut into it, and it does actually work. You have before that one your small penknife blade, also really functional. Next you would have your wood saw, really awesome designed wood saw. The teeth on this are extremely sharp, and for the length of it, probably about, I don't know, 2-3 inches. You could actually get a lot of work done with this. Next to that, you'd have your fish scaler slash hook degorger and ruler. Has inches on one side and centimeters on the other. Up to, I think, 3 inches on one side and 7.5 centimeters on the other. Next up you would have your scissors, and these are a really functional pair of scissors here. All Swiss Army knife scissors are extremely functional, and I'll show you that later on in the video. Next to that you have your pliers. These aren't really heavy duty use pliers, but you can put some torque into there without any worry. But if you overexert these, you can maybe bend them. That being said, these pliers are awesome. Exactly what I'd use a pair of pliers on a daily basis for, and that's why I sort of love this tool. Next to that, you got sort of a specialty item in your magnifying glass. It does actually work. It does really magnify well. I'll try to get my tip in there. Tip of my finger, guys. Get real. Come on. But yeah, and I've also heard and fairly confident that you could actually start a fire with this, and I'll actually try that in a different video. And lastly, you would have your big flathead with your bottle opener and your wire stripper. I've never used the actual wire stripper on a Swiss Army knife before, but I'll probably give it a try in this video. There's sort of a technique where you put it at the half rest here and take out your main blade to sort of score the outside while the wire's in this notch. Well, I'll show you that later. On the back here you have your corkscrew. Inside the corkscrew you have your micro flathead screwdriver. Good if you wear sunglasses. I wear sunglasses. My girlfriend actually wears prescription glasses, so this will come in handy for sure. The wine or the corkscrew opener I don't see really coming in handy too much, but since it does already have the inline Phillips, they wouldn't put another Phillips here. So I'd use this for like a scraper, or if I did have to open any wine for any specific reason, I'd be set up for it. Also, under the corkscrew, you do have a straight pin. just for any usage you could think of for that. Sticking a blister, draining it, that sort of thing. Beside the corkscrew, you have a small but really functional wood chisel or scraper. You have another smaller flathead, and this one, compared to the other two, it is a different size. So you have your large, this would be probably your medium or small, and then you have your micro one stashed away in the corkscrew. Next to that, you have your multi-purpose hook. This was originally a package carrying hook. I guess in Switzerland and the surrounding regions, it was customary or law, I forget which one, to actually wrap your packages in twine. And instead of carrying it by hand, they would use this hook because the twine would cut into their hand. They kept it in here, but I see a lot of use for this. Taking pots off the fire would be the main one. I'm actually seeing someone make a ghillie hat out of one of these, pulling the fibers through and actually weaving a ghillie suit hat out of it. Really awesome. I'll try to find the video in the description for that. And lastly, you would have your reamer or your awl. Also, you could put your some sort of cordage through here and puncture it through, so you could use it sort of as a sewing needle for larger stitching jobs. And then in the handle scales, you have a ballpoint pen. It's a blue ballpoint pen, and it actually really works well. You have your toothpick and your tweezers. And I already used these tweezers to get a small sliver out of my thumb. Worked really well. You do have to grab them sort of right in the middle of the plier to get the best sort of squeeze out of it, but they work really well. So yeah guys, with all that said, that's about 33 tools in a fairly compact size. Like I said, I've been carrying this in that fifth pocket in your jeans and haven't really been noticing it that whole time. Weighs about 6 ounces, just a little bit over 6 ounces. It's a lot for a knife, but not really at the same time, if that makes any sense. Some titanium frame locks could push around 6 or 7 ounces. Some of the custom frame locks even maybe a little more than that. Your average knife would probably be a lighter knife than this, but this would give you a lot more function in my personal opinion. The blades on this came sharp. I was happy with the actual sharpness of the box. I've been using this for about a week and still cuts regular paper no problem. That's the small blade, and this is the main blade here. I have been using the smaller blade more, and you'll probably see the difference. Like I said, haven't touched these up, haven't stropped them, haven't sharpened them, nothing. So was really happy about that. Haven't owned a new Swiss Army knife in quite some time, and the last one I bought this one probably about 6-7 years ago, and it's been really reliable. Has a sort of reverse liner lock here, and also has a sort of serrated safety blade. Has some other tools in there. I'll be doing a video on that shortly. Just maybe show you the performance of the scissors here. These things are actually really sharp too, maybe more so than the knives themselves, but you can control these really well. So pretty much anything you need a pair of scissors for, these would handle. But I'll say it again, these wouldn't be sort of hard use scissors. Showing you, this is 550 mil-spec paracord. Cuts through it with ease, you see in that. super sharp scissors and awesome functionality out of them. Moving on to the pliers. I said at the start of the video, these aren't really hard use pliers. You're not going to wrench on like a nut on your car or try to tighten your tires with these things. If you're looking for a multi-tool specifically to use the pliers, I'd probably suggest either a Leatherman or actually Swiss Army's multi-tools. But these pliers are super functional. They do come with a sort of small wire stripper that I didn't, or a wire cutter that I didn't really mention at the starting of the video. You can see that little notch there. I think this wire here, yeah, that's too thick to fit in there. But just showing you maybe something what these pliers can handle, sort of what I've been using them for. Not really this specific task, but little bits of prying, little bits of pulling. You see here it's able to sort of break apart this pop bottle cap fairly easy. Other things I've been using the pliers for, I've been doing a lot more paracording, tying different knots and whatnot, and these pliers have a really fine tip on them, and it's actually really easy to undo knots with this. So you just sort of work the knot. Really good if you maybe lack a little bit of finger dexterity, or if you have maybe bigger fingers to work with this finer cordage here. I was just making or practicing making some snares. Maybe show you a little bit of what this file can do. You can file your fingernails with it. It does work. You can file plastics with it. That does work also. So if you're out in the bush and needed to make a float or a lure or even a hook out of plastic, you could do that. Like I said in the start, there is a sort of metal saw here. You could also use that to sort of carve a trench or a groove into plastic for whatever purpose you would need that for. Works really well. Overall, guys, I've been really happy with this knife. There's probably only about 2 tools on here that I'd consider not everyday use tools. One of them being the fish scaler here, but it has the ruler on it, so it sort of compensates for that. I would use this as a fish scaler, and it actually seems like it would work really, really well. And I could actually see myself using this and as a makeshift fork at times. The other one would probably be the magnifying glass. Yes, you could start a fire with this, and yes, it does magnify really well. Maybe just show you some of that right quick. So you can see that. So it does really work. This would be an awesome camping tool. It's been a really good EDC tool for me, and really handy to have on me. Funny little story, we were walking back, me and my girlfriend, from the store, and we seen a little bit of smoke coming from a median, and as we walked up, it was a lot more smoke, and there was a fire. So we tried to put it out ourselves, but that was pretty futile. We called the fire department, and they put it out. While they were writing my girlfriend's statement, the firefighter's pen stopped working, so I whipped this one out and offered it to him. He didn't actually use it, but his pen started working just as I handed it to him. But it's always good to have something on you, and this tool basically covers everything. It was pretty neat when I bought this. Didn't even know I'd be getting another one sort of as a prize for a contest I entered. So it was really neat that when I found out I was getting this, I got this fairly soon after. So now I'd have 3 Swiss Army knives, or Victorinox knives. I'll be doing a review and a video on this one, and I'll be doing a couple other test videos on this one, because I actually think it warrants it. Really awesome knife, guys. If you're just getting into knives, or if you have 1,000 of them, you could really appreciate a Swiss Army knife. So thanks for watching this video, guys. It's always appreciated. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Take care, guys. Bye.